All right, welcome in everybody to the Dynamo postgame show here. Soccer Matters on YouTube, and we appreciate you tuning in wherever you're catching this. So I'm here to walk the Dynamo fans off the ledge here tonight. It ends a 2-2 draw, a game of two halves here tonight, and very disappointing. Dynamo will go to 6-6-6. I think they've dropped points in the last two games, despite the fact that they've gotten draws. I think that was a game they should have won in Atlanta. The last four goals the Dynamo have conceded, for all intents and purposes, have been self-inflicted. They were again tonight here. The Dynamo had a 2-0 lead. We positioned it in the second half as, look, Dynamo did what they should in the first half against a young, less experienced Seattle lineup, and that was score at least two goals and get into the locker room. You had real control of this game. Third goal was going to be important. Next goal in the game was going to be important. Certainly Seattle had to get it, and it ends up being self-inflicted. So 30th minute, Latif Blessing. Blessing gets a start here tonight, gets a pair of goals. We want to hear from you. He gets a pair of goals, 30th minute and 40th minute. Bassi gets and Aliou get the two assists. One was a turnover that was an inflicted mistake by Seattle. The Dynamo punished that. He chested it in at the far post after some good work from Amin Bassi to suck out Stefan Fry. Then in the 40th minute, off transition, Yamar, who I thought had a poor game for Seattle tonight, heads the ball right to the Houston Dynamo. It set in motion a transitional moment. It was precise. It was a great finish. It was a great run from Aliou, who then hung the ball up at the far post. And you got a really committed run from Latif Blessing, who now, for the Houston Dynamo, I think tonight becomes the team's leading goal scorer, believe it or not, with a pair of goals to go with the three he had coming into the game. He has now scored 3 goals in 2 appearances here. So at the half, you're going, look, this is a great place to be. You're positioned well. You did what you needed to do. I thought the Dynamo came out. It looked sharp early, but then in the 58th minute, Paul Rothrock, who has scored in his second consecutive game, Paul Rothrock goes in after a very tame and not a very aggressive and confident tackle from Mikael. It was almost like he pulled out, gets in behind, initially gets saved by Steve Clark, and then the rebound, though, goes right back to Rothrock, and he delivers to make it 2-1. So now it's game on. You got Raul Ruidiaz coming on. Nuhu was already inserted into the game to bring you some energy. And now Brian Schmetzer is dipping into the bench and bringing on some of the veterans that he didn't put on from the start of this game. Lo and behold, 4 minutes later, set piece, Dynamo completely lose Jackson Reagan, and Reagan drifts into the far post and heads home, and now it's 2-2, and they make a push. They almost made it 3-2. Dynamo push a bit at the end, but it just wasn't there. I think Hector Herrera ran out of steam, and when Herrera runs out of steam, really nobody picks it up when it comes to orchestrating and controlling this team. Jeff says, more often than not, the Dynamo playbook tends to be more like a pamphlet. Once the opponent pivots to the Dynamo tactics, they rarely have a plan B. Well, a lot of the plan is Hector when it comes to the attack. But I would also say to that you know, you're conceding bad goals now, and you're losing points because of them. In my opinion, you've lost 4 out of 6 points in the last 2 games. I don't position these draws as win.
No.
Even the one on the road. That was a Atlanta team that's a disaster right now. The Yogi Bear Gaming, frustrating match. Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't want to be a manager in this one. But there may be some things that are a little bit more glaring at this stage right now.
Not that I'm tooting my own horn, but that stat I brought up, and it's a big part of this season so far, is the fact that out of the 22
did you
goals
bring it
conceded,
up? Yeah.
I did.
16 of 22 of the Dynamo goals conceded this year have come in the second half. It was a piece of data we used in the game, and that just proves to you that the Dynamo are fatiguing physically, mentally. This is when they're conceding goals. It's also when Hector Herrera seems to run out of a little bit of steam. Nobody's going to want to say that, but you're not going to hear that anywhere else, that somebody's saying that Hector Herrera is running out of energy at the end of the game. There's no doubt about it. Streak of lost points historically keeps the Dynamo out of the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, it's too early to even – I mean, let's see what happens with the new striker coming in, Ezekiel Ponce, what are we training? We're losing in defense. Well, listen, I mean, individuals are responsible for making plays. And, I mean, right now, Mikael looks like a mistake ready to happen.
Yeah.
And we were really lauding him for what he's done this year. He's in a bad period right now. And I would say right now it's the time to bench him and give Ethan Bartlow a full 90 minutes. Ladeef Blessing is a legit blessing to this team, though. Yeah, I was hoping he was going to hit the hat trick as well. You were going to say something.
It is odd after as well as the defense did last year on this team, or for this team, to see where they're at now and conceding these late goals in a game.
Well, last year, and look, I think the first thing is your possession game is your first defense, and that may not be as good as it has been last year. We have to remember last year was a really, really significant year. It was an outstanding performance by this club, this team. Herrera was top dollar and top draw, minute 1 to minute 90, and you can see maybe he's not fit enough yet. But we also have to remember he's a 34-year-old man. So who's going to accept some other responsibility from the standpoint of the attack and building plays, coming up with plays, creating? You didn't have Coco Carrasquilla here tonight. You got a little bit of that from Bossi. You got Kovalchuk running at people, but there's nobody who can do it like Hector. And if Hector's running out of gas, maybe the team is mentally a little bit at this stage. It happens. But last year, they really did not have a lot of self-inflicted mistakes. I think this year we can really pinpoint that they have made a lot of self-inflicted mistakes, and they have been punished for it. There you go. Now, everybody talks about, well, Houston, we're going to use the heat and the energy to our advantage. There's a little bit of a misnomer in that because you also have to train in that. I don't know about that. And tonight it was in the 70s. It felt heavier with the air, but Austin says everyone looked gassed, especially Hector. Yep.
Jeff, I'm actually going to steal his comment here and actually label this video as that tonight's headline should be from blessing to cursed.
Well, you got a 6-6-6 season. There's no panic. Where do they sit in the table? I think they remain seventh tonight.
Let's see. They are.
If Seattle had won tonight, they would have leapfrogged the Dynamo, and Seattle's had a very, very tough year.
It's close. So Vancouver's 25 points, Houston's 24, Austin's tied at 24, Seattle's got 22, Portland's got 22.
Yeah, and Seattle's going to come on once they get De La Vega back. They're going to come on a little bit. I got to think St. Louis will. I'm not sure what's going on at Sporting. Portland, you got to think, is going to come back. There's just too many good players there. So that's going to be interesting. But the Dynamo are going to definitely need a big burst from Ezequiel Ponce. And this is where the pressure of making a signing like that is very important because I think they need something now that's going to re-energize them. I think it's flatlined a little bit. It certainly has from a mental and physical perspective. Funny Hat says 6-6-6. The Yogi Bear Gaming says Seattle and Portland both started off rough and are coming back. Yeah, that's Major League Soccer. People are going to morph into different things here when signings are made. And, Olivier Giroud is going to join LAFC. I mean, things are going to change. Teams are going to look different. No time to panic. Well, Jeff, there isn't any. You don't panic in Major League Soccer till you're mathematically out of it. I mean, that's the modus operandi, I think. Ponce can't play until after the window. Yeah, he's at the end of July. Yeah. That's when he can play.
But was it you that said it on the show he's eligible, I think, for
the first game he can play is Vancouver. Yeah, he can play in the Leagues Cup. Sure. I think the Leagues Cup will be wonderful to integrate players. The Dynamo will get Atlas in that and another game with Real Salt Lake, who, by the way, haven't lost in how many now? Is it 14?
Yes, and I think they might be 15 now. Wow. I think they were winning today.
That's pretty incredible.
Let's see. RSL beat SKC 3-4. Or 4-3, sorry. 4-3.
You confused me there.
RSL beat SKC 4-3 on the road.
Yeah. So let's jump into a little bit of data here, and then I'm going to let you give out some scores. So the Dynamo had 17 shots, only 4 on target. So that tells you there's a need for a striker, right? You can go out there and talk about all your shots and your actions. I mean, Amin Bassi hits them all over the top all the time. They fly into the crowd. He's not a finisher. He had some great moments in the game, including setting up the first goal. But let's be honest, we're asking people to do things that their careers haven't really told the story that this is what they do. They're not goal scorers. So this is another reason why there's an urgency to get a 9 in here that can finish some of these plays off. I didn't think the Dynamo played to the strengths of Sebas Ferreira when he came on. You needed width, and you needed to start lumping a few crosses into the box. Give the guy something to attack. He never had anything towards the face of goal except that flick on from Aliu, which he was at the back post. I don't know if he could have got there or not. So they had 4 shots on target. Seattle had 5 on only 10 shots. Dynamo win the possession 56-44. 15 crosses for the Dynamo, 16 for Seattle. 58 final third entries, 49 for Seattle. And the Dynamo had 5 corners here tonight. So I don't know what to say about that. As far as the substitutions, you had Nuhu come in, you had Rui Diaz, Musovski, you had Nathan, and then you had Joao Paulo come on for Seattle. For the Dynamo, it was Ferreira, Daniel Steres, Brooklyn Raines, Ethan Bartlow, and Tate Schmidt. It's a small sample size for Ferreira. I was a little surprised that maybe he didn't start the game here tonight, but I think Ben, not to second guess, it's easy to do that, but I think Ben Olsen wanted to continue with, the false 9. But I think it would have been interesting to see Ferreira get a full 90 minutes and say, you know what, we're going to give you a real sample size here tonight. Go do something. There's another striker coming in. He's going to be the coveted striker. What do you want to do in response to that? Show us. And I don't think you can really show it coming into a game like this with a few minutes left. So I don't think it's fair to really judge him on that.
I do want to touch on something just really quick.
Kovalchuk right into the goalkeeper from Rushan. Funny hat, not a single thing exceptional from this club, not one thing. The Yogi Berra, he'll definitely get some minutes in Leagues Cup. There's still a lot of games in between getting Ponce here. We could well be out of a playoff position. What is that? Katako? Thank you, Glenn, for everything. Oh, that's very nice. I appreciate that. That means a lot. I like to tell it like it is because I think you guys as fans are intelligent. I think we all see things. I think this discussion is really healthy. We have a lot of fun. There's a lot of games to go. We all know Major League Soccer isn't won or lost in June. That's one thing we all know, and I think probably can agree on. And Rushan reminds us there's 16 games left. I think we played 18.
One thing really quick, guys, because the numbers are actually looking really good. Do me a favor right now. Share this to your timeline via either Twitter, Facebook, wherever you're watching. You can't really share on YouTube. You can share it to your Facebook, though. Share that, like, subscribe, all the above. It's actually one of the higher views we've gotten live.
Everybody's living up to it, and I think what I'd like to say is just keep spreading the word about the radio show and the fact that we do these pre- and post-game shows because I want to hear from you guys. I mean, there's so much I learned from the interaction with everybody and the talking of the game, and there's definitely so many passionate soccer fans in Houston. And I'll say this again, and I always do, and I know people get mad at me when I say this. This building should be sold out every game. It should be sold out every game. That should be the goal. We shouldn't get content with where we are. I mean, how can we be whipping off the attendance we are? How can we be getting the World Cup here because of what fans doing here? And all the authentic fans in Houston. We need to fill this building, but the club has got to make that effort also. We already got all you guys, but everything you can do to keep talking about the radio show, reminding people, we will be on Friday at 6 o'clock Central, okay, again, on ESPN 97.5. I hope you'll join in and maybe listen to that. We'll be giving tickets away. And then, the likes, the hits, the comments, all of this tonight means a lot.
I'm going to touch on that, too, because when I was actually doing the notes for the game, that's how I tuned in. It's also on Twitch. I know Guillermo puts it up. I don't know if Guillermo really monitors the chat that well, but we need some more soccer people in that chat on Twitch.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's also on ESPN 97.5's YouTube channel as well when he goes live.
So last night we had a good show. We had the Dynamo general manager Pat Onstad, and then we had from Aston Villa played as a defender and a midfielder, a very good player, Earl Barrett. And Earl came in studio because he's a part of our soccer community. These are things that people really don't understand. That we have people from all over the world that have incredible resumes here. Ex-pros, ex-Liga MX guys. I was walking when I used to live in the Woodlands, and I walked right by, I'm trying to remember who it was. One of the guys that I played on against Unam Pumas. I can't remember what his name was, but a lot of them are living up in the Woodlands as well. We have kids that have grown up on this field all over the country coaching in various levels, whether assistants in Major League Soccer. You got Eric Quill at New Mexico United, who's got a USL Championship team that plays in front of 10,000 every game. They're still in the Open Cup. They play LAFC coming up soon. You got college coaches at places like UConn and Notre Dame, and you know, we got a lot to be proud about here, and the game goes back all the way to the late 60s at the pro level with the Houston Stars.
There are a couple that I want to hit on here. I wonder how you feel about this. Based on the subs, it looked like we accepted the tie late in that game, late tonight.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I mean, yeah, I guess you're saying because a few of them were a little bit more defensive. Yeah, they changed out 2 defenders. Yeah, maybe. I think it was good to get Mikael off the field. Like I said before, I think Ethan Bartlow needs to start now. Give him a break. Give Mikael a break. Thank you, Funny Hat. I appreciate that.
Josh, it is on. This show's not on Twitch yet. I need to create a Twitch for Soccer Matters' page personally. But it is on ESPN 97.5's Twitch, the live show on Friday.
With Ponce coming in, I think we'll start seeing more people in the seats. Now, that doesn't necessarily translate. If you start scoring goals, it should, yes. But the thing is,
winning it.
We have got to decide that we want real soccer fans here as well. You can't just, we need more real soccer fans. We have a city full of authentic fans that are going to be at the Mexico-Jamaica game. They're going to be at the Colombia-Paraguay game. They're out there. They're quote-unquote called unique fans. They're unique in that you have not gotten them to your party. This needs to be a party all the time, and it needs to be a place that there is a basis and a nucleus of authentic fans, and then you can do all these other tertiary, differing cool things with the internet and things off it, but we have failed to get the authentic fan here.
I'm going to hit again.
Or the amount of authentic fans that we need here.
Keep sharing again, guys. We may be able to hit 100 views tonight. We're almost up to 90.
Okay, good. We accepted the tie. Hold on a second. I want to address Jonah Perez. Do you think Ben Olsen is a good coach? Personally, I believe he's stuck on Bassi. Bassi does not deserve to be a starter. So, Jonah, come back to me with why you don't think Bassi should be a starter. Get me a little deeper on that. He's good on the ball. He's good at the possession game. He's not a finisher. We know that. But let's be honest. When you get a new striker in here, this can take the pressure off others. That's the other big hope with this, is an upkick in the locker room, excitement, energy around a new personality. The guy seems like he's a very serious goal scorer. The other thing is what it does tactically for people. And then how are you going to play with this guy? You're going to have to play very differently. We're playing with 2 guys in Kowalczyk and Bassi that are underneath, right? They're not even playing up against the center backs of an opponent. So you don't have that depth. What you do have is center backs that are in 2 minds maybe because these guys are playing underneath more. Now you're going to have a legit striker that will sit deep against center backs. And that means you're going to have to get really good wide play, improved wide play, more delivery. And then if you can accent that with the good tight play and the 1-2s, I think you're going to be better off. But I think you need more wide game. You need more delivery from wide. And I don't think the Dynamo did that when Sebas Ferreiro was in the game.
The Bassi thing, though, he has had moments where it's made you question his play, but he does have 4 assists, and he had one tonight.
No, he made the first play. It was a great play on his part. But I think people get frustrated with the level of finishing.
Yeah.
Every time Bassi gets the ball, he passes it backwards. He does. Well, I think one thing out of the midfield now, and again, this is we don't have midfielders who pick up a ball and run at people enough. When Kovalchuk ran at the Seattle defense and committed a defender, that was a dangerous attack. That doesn't happen enough. We don't have enough dribblers. We don't have people that take people on. And you need that because I at times think the Dynamo do overpassing. And it's almost like players are passing the responsibility too, right? You have to try a few more things. You have to take a little bit more risk, I think. I understand the Dynamo want the game under control. I understand they play a narrow game, so when the ball's lost, they can win it back right away, and they're not stretched out. But it to me looks as though it's a team that needs some dribblers. And I know Pat Onset on the show said they need another winger. Griffin Dorsey gets injured, I'll tell you what, you're in real trouble because that right side of the field, I mean, he drives the ball forward for you. I thought they dealt with him pretty well tonight in the second half, especially. I thought because Nuhu came on, that's a good move by Schmetzer because Nuhu pushed things on the left and it forced Dorsey to defend a little bit more.
Dorsey
$5 beer.
That would get me in the stadium.
Anti-disco night like the Chicago White Sox did. Had a damn near riot. You guys weren't even born probably for that one. Read out some other results for the guys
I got
and
you.
gals.
What happened?
We subbed in 3 defenders. Emilio Perez Arce says, yeah, that's where you're talking about playing for the tie. I mean, some of that may be just getting fresh people on. But, yeah, I can see how you would think that. Yep.
All right, we got Montreal, New York Red Bulls playing a 2-2 draw. Charlotte FC, Orlando 2-2 draw. DC, who we have up next, losing to Atlanta 1-0. And they are actually, I had written this down somewhere, and I didn't remember where I put it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They only have 2 wins in their last 10, including the loss
Who's
tonight. DC. 2 wins in their last 10.
Oh, yeah, they're struggling.
Yep.
Them and Atlanta United are 2 of the worst teams in the league right now. I mean, you got to go there and take 3 points now.
Inter Miami winning again, 2-1 over Columbus. Toronto dropping points at home to Nashville 2-1. FC Cincinnati beating the Philadelphia Union 4-3. Austin FC was up most of this game, but they ended up drawing 1-1 to LAFC. Dallas putting a spanking on Minnesota 5-3.
Coaching change.
Yeah.
Nico Estevez out. Who'd they beat? Who'd you mention?
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Yeah, I think Minnesota's overrated. That's 2 in a row now they've lost. They lost to Seattle and they lost to Dallas.
RSL beating SKC in SKC 4-3.
Wow. 7 goals. How about a goal fest in Kansas City?
Yeah. Colorado beating St. Louis at home 3-0. And currently in the 27th minute, LA Galaxy and NYCFC are tied 0-0. And Portland is up 1-0 in the 27th minute over San Jose in San Jose.
Okay, San Jose, another one of those, well, man, treading water franchises. Yeah. Okay, the Yogi Bear Gaming, Brian Schmetzer is a class act. I can tell you he really is. The thing about him is he's Seattle through and through. He's respected in the Seattle community through and through. Has done it at every level, worked his way up to being an excellent head coach. Great guy. I knew him when he was an assistant coach when I started in TV in 1994 doing the Continental Indoor Soccer League here with the Houston Hotshots. And Brian was the assistant coach to Fernando Clavijo in Seattle. Jeff says, Pat mentioned needing depth in the outside backs in your interview, didn't he? Yes, he did, Jeff, 100%.
He brought us specifically Dorsey.
Joan, yeah, because if he gets injured. Jonah says, okay, maybe I am drunk and said Bassi shouldn't be a starter, but he can be frustrating sometimes. Yeah, I think so. I think there's, I hope this number 9 in Ezekiel Ponce will bring, and I think he will bring, from what we see on paper and what we hear, a little bit more directness and a little bit more verticality and a little bit more just getting the goal. And I hope he's the kind of guy, and I know everybody's going to say, well, we want people to be team players and all that. No, I want a selfish striker, and you know what? Even if you win, I want that guy to be pissed off and fired up, and I want him to go home and eat scorpion soup so the next game he comes out and scores, right? Because I've played with guys like that. Those are scary guys. They're not going to be a detriment to the team. But we need somebody up there that's a bit more selfish. I really believe that. And strikers can be selfish, and they can be selfish and not upset a team dynamic. For sure. 100% for sure. And listen, the Dynamo are very careful with who they let on this team. Personalities, they're checking all this out, right? Culture, and that's very important. But you do need, you do need that one guy in and around goal that's just got a little bit of something there, right?
Singal, the indoor goat.
You'll be sure you'll be ready for the game after Scorpion. Yeah, Scorpion soup works for me. I highly recommend it. You can also throw a little snake in there as well. Steve Jungle, yeah, unbelievable. The Lord of all indoors. Yes.
Okay, maybe I'm just
go look him up.
younger. No,
he
maybe
may
I'm
have
just
been
younger.
he may have been the greatest indoor player ever in the
Scorpion
United
soup?
States. Scorpion soup
Never
is
heard
good.
of it.
Yeah, it's good. Look it up. It's good. I might make some tonight when I get home. Jungle, yeah, the indoor goat, no question. Hey, we got some people with good memories here.
Yeah. So as we said, Dynamo take on DC United this Saturday. Our next game that Glenn will have the call for will be June 29th against Charlotte FC, which means we will have pre and post game starting at 7 o'clock. We'll have pre-game, post-game starting shortly after.
I want to ask something real quick to everybody who's listening. Is it hard for you to find and access the local call that we do on the Dynamo home games, or or are you even listening to that? I mean, because I don't know if it's easy for people to find. And basically, when the Apple deal was done, pretty much it killed all local TV for 29 teams. I'm just wondering if anybody is clicking over, and is it hard to find, or is it easy to access? What do you guys think?
What I will do is for the next radio call, I'll tweet it out from the Soccer Matters account where to find it on the screen.
So, Jonathan, I see what you're saying to him. Dynamo need more support from fans. Yeah, but listen, in the context of what happened prior to Ted Siegel ownership, there was a beatdown here. People were fatigued. This got driven into the ground. That means you got to go out and get people. And just playing well and winning doesn't do it. You learned that last year. We learned that even the one year we made the playoffs with the Leafs in Kyoto. If you're expecting people to come and just come without going out and beating the bushes and being personal and getting out there and getting connected with the leaders of all these different ethnic communities that we have and people from all over the world.
We will just record straight from here. I think my mixer just died.
Okay, so
Everything just died. Yeah.
So I don't know if are we on or not?
Yeah,
Can they hear us?
you can take your headphones off.
Okay, so I think what we have to know is that I don't know where it cut off, but that a lot of work has to be done to get fans here, and you can't just say, people need to support the Dynamo. That's not how it works.
Hold on one
You have
second.
to earn the support.
All right, now we should be good.
You have to earn it.
No, you're good. You can put it back on now.
You got to earn support when you want to get people in the building, and that means improving the relations in the youth community. It means differing marketing techniques. I still go to Authentic Soccer Fans. We have these unique fans that can fill this place up. They do it for all the international content. There's no reason why it can't be here. I think we're getting near the end of it. Live TV is the best. Yes, we can hear you now. Audio's fully back. All good. Okay. So listen, Friday night, 6 o'clock Central Time, I'll be on ESPN 97.5. Hope you guys tune into that or at least listen to the podcast. Thanks, everybody. Great stuff. A lot of fun doing this. I'm having a great time doing it because of what you guys do. So keep it up.
I'll say this, the most views we've had live. We're up to 152.
Good.
Okay. Real quick, guys, before we go, be sure for the pre- and post-game shows, too. Go ahead and like, share, subscribe on YouTube, like on Facebook, follow on Twitter/X and Instagram. We also have a Threads. I don't post a whole lot on there. Coverage for all the pregame shows start at 7 o'clock if it's a 7:30 kickoff. Final whistle. After the final whistle, post-game show will start shortly after. Yeah. And like Glenn said, be sure to tune in to Soccer Matters this Friday.
All right, I'll just finish up one thing here. How hyped are you about Ponce? I'm excited. I'm always cautiously optimistic, but I'm excited for a couple of reasons, and this is big. The deal that he is on is a big commitment from the Dynamo. So they're basically saying this guy's going to be a pillar of the team for a couple of years. Okay, so that has me excited. I want to see what type of soccer player this guy is. I've seen some of the footage. I've talked to people in Greece. There's a lot of good things. The guy's good in the air. So we'll see. Yeah, that'll do it for me tonight. I'm ready to go to bed. I don't know about you guys. But thanks, everybody, for doing this. You make it a lot of fun. I appreciate it. Till Friday night at 6 Central Time. Remember, soccer matters. So do all you guys. Thanks so much.